This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity.
Richie is with us in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Richie. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so real quick, I've got a mortgage. It is the only debt I have. It is about $260,000 left I owe on the house. I bought the house at an interest rate of 2.7%. I have $250,000 in the bank. So my question is, do I pay off the mortgage? Everyone's telling me that I could use that money and invest it and get a better return on it because I have such a low interest rate on the mortgage.
Everyone is broke.
Yeah, right.
So you don't want to go with the they said and I heard financial planning firm.
Okay.
You follow broke people's advice, what would you expect to be other than broke?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let's turn it around. Sometimes a good way to figure things out is to reverse engineer them and see how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
What's your home worth?
It's probably in the 450s, 500.
And what do you make a year?
Me and my wife together bring home about $120,000 a year.
And how old are you?
30.
Way to go. You've done very well, Richie.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's pretend you're living in a $450,000 paid-for house, and you have no money in your checking except just an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside over in savings, okay?
Okay.
And your house is paid for.
Uh-huh. Mortgage
rates come down. And you can borrow whatever you want to borrow on this paid-for house at 2.75. You're sitting there in a paid-for house. Can you breathe that in for a second? Would you go get a mortgage?
And you're saying I can borrow again?
Yeah, let's just say the interest rates were 2.75.
He's saying, would you borrow against your home?
If your house is paid for, you're sitting in a paid-for house at 30 years old, it's $450,000, you make $120,000 a year, you got $30,000 in your checking account. Would you go borrow $250,000, $300,000 on this house, on this paid-for house at 2.75?
Right. No, probably not.
What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
The difference is this. Let me help you. When you ask the question in reverse, what we're doing here is we're activating your heart. Because once you kind of got your head around what I was saying, for just a second, even though it was a hypothetical situation, we discussed taking a paid-for house and putting it in debt. For just a second, your stomach jumped into your throat and your heart started beating faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Because the way that question asks is it activates the risk, because your heart and your stomach measure risk. Your brain does math. And that's a metaphor of sorts, but my point is what your friends are not recognizing is risk. Mm-hmm. And we've done detailed research, and 100% of the foreclosures occur on a home with a mortgage.
Right.
So there's always risk, even if it's 2.75, even if you have a steady job making a great income, there's always a level of risk. Now, in your case, it's not a horrendous level of risk. That's why it kind of becomes a theoretical discussion, like I wonder if I should really do that. I wonder if my broke friends are right, because you're not feeling the risk. But let me tell you, if that thing was up to your eyeballs and you could barely breathe, you would feel the risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because mortgages, all debt equals risk. More debt equals more risk. Less debt equals less risk. And that is not calculated in the math that your broke friends are using. And that's what our reverse scenario does for you. It makes your body feel the risk, because you really do feel it.
Well, yeah, you're weighing both sides of the equation accurately. Before, it was easy to just say, oh, you don't need to pay off your house, without even taking a moment to think what that would feel like and weigh that side of it. And then when you do that, it puts it into perspective, which is...
Now, Dr. John Delony talks about, and I've never heard anybody talk about it quite like he has, but the research that's there, the way our body carries stress. Mm-hmm. We physiologically store up trauma, store up stress. And so when someone says, this debt is weighing me down, that's an actual true statement.
Yeah, your body knows.
If you are carrying a backpack full of bricks.
Yeah. Your body keeps the score, is what he says.
That's what he says. And he's quoting a famous famous piece of research. But we store trauma, we store risk, we store pain physically in our bodies. And when you don't have that, there's a release.
100%.
And that's what God's meant when he said the borrower is slave to the lender.
Yeah.
Slaves don't have choices. You know, it changes things.
And you can't fool your body into thinking it's not there. Your body does know.
Yeah.
We were talking about this with the student loans. You know, people are saying, but I can get a lower payment and kick the can down the road, as if your body doesn't feel it.
As if you don't really know, somewhere deep down in your knower,
Yeah.
that this is stupid.
Yes. And that it's still there.
Yeah. It didn't go away. We just swept it under the rug, and, all we got is a lumpy rug.
Yep.
That's it.
Rug.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. To learn more about investing, visit RamseySolutions.com/investing or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.